say divine feminine, but I also want to just say my queen, my goddess. Sometimes just, oh my god, you know? I find myself in the strangest place. It's like I am the eye of the storm, that strange, calm, mystical place within. It's like I can see all of the storms raging around me, and I feel like they all started by you, like, walking away. I feel like I don't even know what to say. I know that you've not, like, gone to the dark side or anything, but I feel like you definitely kind of picked up your villain hat and, like, you know what? And, like, you had your moments, and then you just picked up and moved on. Like, everybody was expecting some sort of, like, I guess bigger, more dramatic exit or something like that, or some sort of thing to happen to you, like some, like, really bad thing, and it's like, I swear, feminine. Only you, like, only you could do the wrong thing, but for all the right reasons, and obviously Spirit will totally have your back. I'm not even fully sure how it works, but in watching everything that's been going on, I mean, I swear it's like everybody around me makes sure that I pay more. I don't ever stop paying attention to you, which you'd think would be backwards because you would think they would not want me to think about you that much. And not that I'm opposed to thinking about you, it's just such a strange turning of the tables, you know? Like, it's what they spent so much time telling me not to think about you, and now you're all that anybody can talk about. And of course, because they're all talking about it, and there's things and people around me that just make it impossible to not think about you regularly, I check in on you. I have my ways. Yeah, I know you blocked me. I know you set yourself up to be all honey, there's the door kind of shit. Like, I hear the message. Masculine, you know what? If you're gonna go and have your pity party over there, then fine. I'm walking away. And you know what drives me nuts, feminine? Only you. Only you could walk away in exactly the way you did and leave me here knowing that you knew that everything that you did and said would absolutely pull me towards you like an industrial magnet. I'm not even sure how I'm still in the space that I'm in or how I'm so calm. I see that your heart is open. I'm, I don't even know if you could hear like the gulp that I feel in thinking that. And not just in thinking about you being open and available to be with other masculines, but the fact that I was so foolish as to have let myself become comfortable with leaving you on the back burner. Not even the back burner, like the back of the pantry kind of shit. Like, who did I think I was? That's what I keep thinking with myself, and like, I don't even know what to think or feel anymore. I already didn't. So now I feel like you walked away, and you didn't just walk away from me, like you walked away from everything you'd ever known and everyone who ever knew you. And everyone felt it. It was like the day the earth stood still. Or what is it, the shot heard around the world, you know? It was like the day divine feminine walked away. And it was like, I don't know, I guess you know those movies you like, those like Harry Potter movies or whatever, where that teacher, that wizard guy, the Dumbledore guy, that like he had that light putter outer thing. It's like you had one of those, except for you just like you I don't know, like part in one part of my mind, it's like you snapped it and all the lights went out at once. But it was like at first, like you just took little lights, one by one, almost like that movie. You liked it for a while, that Pitch Black movie with Vin Diesel, like to where there was only a certain amount of light left, and like anybody else in your position would have like maybe blown the light up or something like that. Like everybody, I know even I was expecting something just, I don't know, what I did and what I said to you. I guess I expected you to just go off on me and everyone else. And instead, it was like you just clicked the light thing like one more time and all the light left. And we were all surrounded by shadow. I don't. I know it wasn't the whole entire world, but it was my whole world. It was the whole world of the people that you walked away from. And trust me, like I know they don't see it. They're still sitting there playing victim, but I know it. They took you for granted. They tried to take you down to make themselves feel better, and it didn't even make them feel better. And you just recognized that it was time to love yourself. Love those who were good to you, and even to love me, which it's funny because part of me is still surprised by it, and yet you always choose to love me, and so I'm not surprised by it either. I don't know how you are the only one that can make me feel that way. Though either way, it's like when you walked away and you took all the light with you, it was like the most soft and loud thing at the same time. I know those aren't even things that go together, but that's the best way I can describe it. And in that space, what's funny is I watched all of the karmics, feminine and masculine, try to stand in your shoes. Like, not in your shoes, but it's like, those weird shows where they talk about like Bigfoot and stuff. And like they'll show like the really big footprint. It's like as if your feet prints were just so big, and everybody tried to stand in them, and none of them could fill the size of the footprint. Or like the sword in the stone, which it's so special. But it's like everybody tried. It's like you came in, and before the lights went out, you shoved that sword into the stone, and you were like, none of you can pull this out. I don't even know. Like, it's not even about who will be king or anything. Or, no, you know what? You were. You were like the Lady of the Lake. You were like the person that can pull this sword from the stone will be the ruler. They will be the god or goddess sort of thing. They will be the divine feminine or divine masculine. Or no, you know what? I know what you did. It was you said the one who can pull this sword from the stone is the divine feminine, and all of the divine feminines stood back, including you. It was like you all collectively did it or something, and then all of the karmic feminines stepped up, and they tried to chip at the stone, they tried to yank the sword, they tried to cut it away, they tried spell work and curses and everything they could think of, and none of them could pull the sword from the stone. And the funny thing is, like, I feel like so many of the karmic feminines around me, I knew it, but I never really connected the dots that they were all trying to copy you. And it's like all of them had been your understudy in a weird sort of way. And yet when you stepped away, like none of the amount of lines that they had memorized or little bits that they'd held on to were anything in comparison. Like, and as I watched each one of them try to use like little bits of things that they'd all picked from you, I realized that look how many of them it takes to just try to compare to one of you. At least that was my experience of it. And especially the main karma, you know who I'm talking about. Like, I thought for a minute that she might have been able to do it. She put on a good show for a minute, though she wasn't able to uphold the. I mean, you can't copy. You know, like imitation can be a compliment, but it's still just imitation. You know what I mean? Pale comparison, and I feel like even I wasn't able to hide it, nor was anyone else like that. That feeling of like seeing her trying to be you. Like it was almost worse than if she'd just been like, "No, I'm gonna be, like I'm gonna be complete opposite just to be opposite of divine feminine." But instead, she tried to be you, and like even I kind of stepped back and was like, "Okay, let's see how this goes," because to be honest, feminine, I didn't know exactly if you were okay or not. I didn't know if you'd really like walked away for good or anything. Like there's so much that I don't know. The shadow storms that came, like there's I guess I'm learning some of the stuff you said about not needing to know everything. Like I guess I don't have to see what's coming all the time. I'm learning to do that thing you were telling me to do over and over again, trust my intuition. And I feel like it's as I watched all of the karmics try to fill your shoes and play your role. And I realized that there were people that actually needed. Like, it was stupid because I realized that I already knew it. Like, part of the reason that I could stay in my stupid immaturity was because you were managing almost everything else. And even I did not realize how much you were, the center hub of the wheel. And that's when I realized it wasn't just me who needed you, it wasn't just the kid. There's a lot of people who needed you and they didn't even know it. And none of your understudies could get anywhere near to doing all of the things that you have always done. And for as much as people say you talk so much, you certainly did a lot of it quietly. The day that you spoke up was probably one of the loudest days ever, even though you were speaking softly. And that's when I realized that I had never really anticipated or expected that you might actually walk away. And I guess I had assumed that either someone or several someones would be able to step up and fill out your shoes. And when they couldn't, I realized I had to do both mine and yours. Which, I mean, it kind of hit me like a boomerang it's like I threw it at you ages ago, months and months ago, years ago, and it finally came around and whacked me in the back of the head. I did. I left you in that position of having to be both me and you for everyone. And I guess it's something like at that point that I realized that while everyone else was trying to copy bits of you, that it was really I who was your understudy. And it's like, metaphorically speaking, it's like I walked up to that rock where you put that sword in when nobody was looking, middle of the night, and I put my hand on it and I felt that it grew warm, not hot, just warm. It made my whole body warm. And I pulled it out of the stone. And I realized there was nobody around me to celebrate it with. That's what this feeling is like. Like I wanted to reach out to you. You were always the person that I could tell my good news to. And my bad news and my hard news. And I realized how much of everything I have right now I arrogantly thought was just all me that I had because I had you. And I took you for granted too, and it's when I put that sword back in that stone. For one thing, I didn't want anybody to know yet, especially because you said that. You know, it felt like you would have said that the one who pulls this out is divine feminine, and that made me think about if I could pull it out, I'm divine feminine, and then it made me think, but I thought I was a masculine. I thought I was a man. I don't know all the things about all the stuff on this journey, but that definitely like threw me. But it also showed me that I was right. That like I was the only one who wasn't studying you. I probably should have been. Yes, I paid attention to you. It's hard not to. Have you met you? But I wasn't studying you. I wasn't trying to manipulate you or make you mad. I know I did make you mad. I know I made a lot of mistakes, but I wasn't trying to do anything in particular other than just trying to be better than who I was, especially when we were together. I still haven't forgiven myself for letting it get to the point to where you would tell me to go. And then to have watched you like glow up like you were freed of 1,000 pounds of weight without me. It crushed me in so many ways I can't even say, but I realized that all those times that I was so busy focused on work and all the people around me demanding things and putting you on the back burner, and you were just telling me about everyday life. And I mean, I even got annoyed with it sometimes. Like, is there anything about her life she doesn't tell me about? Like, but then there's been these moments where, I mean, like I said, when you walked away and you took all the light with you, it was dark. But then I remembered all the silly little things you told me about. Day-to-day activities, going to the store, songs that reminded you of me, things that your family would do, you did with the kids, stuff you did with my family and other people and friends. And in the dark, when it felt like I could hear other people like calling out for something, like where's the light or a flashlight or a candle or how do we find our way out of this, like I realized that I was the only one that knew because I was the one that loved you. Like I didn't, yeah, I got stupid and put 3D stuff first for a long time. I neglected you a lot, in good times and bad, though I really did like listening to you. You always had a way with telling stories. You always, it's like you include the beautiful and the ugly, and somehow you make the ugly beautiful too. It's like as I've heard people crying out and not sure what to do and stumbling around in the dark, then suddenly I could see a little bit. And I thought there must be some light around me, or maybe you would come back in. And it was when I realized the more I looked within myself and found the things that you have shared with me and told me, the ways you've helped me grow, the more I found you, and the more I realized that that was actually me. Like, that it was a part of me, that the light was coming from me. And you know what's funny is there was a point in time where, like, I was like, oh no, like, I can't let this light show too much because the people that have been draining me and draining us and creating all sorts of stuff, they're going to see me again. And it's funny because then I stopped and I was like, I got caught in thoughts about whether or not that was what happened in the first place. Maybe I did always have a light. I couldn't see it until all the light was removed from around everything. I don't know, feminine, it's funny. You know I'm still working on self-worth stuff, self-love, but I think I'm starting to see some of what you saw in me. I still feel it's kind of funny to, I don't know, like I wasn't expecting to be thrown in a situation where I'd have to be both of us. But I feel like it's so much easier than I ever would have expected it to be. And not that it's easy to do what you did at all. Simply that I'm amazed with how much I know because of you, because I didn't listen, because I cared. And how much I remember, and I mean, how much I'm able to sit with things and help people figure out the kind way to do it, the healthy way to do it. I've never been that person that's like, this is the healthy way to do it, or this would be a healthy approach, or maybe take it this way, or don't beat up on yourself so much, or think good things about you. Like, those are all things that I never would have heard in my life if I hadn't met you. And in these quiet moments, I can hear the little pitter-patter of rain going on. I'm mostly alone. The karmics are still, I don't know, I feel like I said, it's like I'm in the eye of the storm, in the center of it, and like they're still going around trying to play high school games. Silent treatment, and passive aggressive, and straight up aggressive, and trying to bring in other people to play envy games and shit. And like, I'm so tired of it, you know? But I feel like I'm also not mad about it anymore. I don't know, feminine. There's so many different things going on, but I feel like everybody who tried, they tried to step up and beat you, and they tried to knock you out of place, and it's like, you could have absolutely stood there and shone bright and stood up on the highest pedestal where they never could have touched you. And instead, it's like you taught them the biggest lesson of all by taking all your light and packing it up in your suitcase. It's like you took the sun and the moon and the stars and you said, all right, y'all think you got this? Peace out. And you left. And none of them could do it. And I thought I thought there would never be light again. And then I noticed the light was in me too. And that really, if there was an understudy for you, it was never them. It was me. And, and that made me happy and sad because I realized that I only have what I have because I was copying you too. And I didn't even really know it. But I'm kind of glad that I did because I'm a different person than I was. Because I always knew that if you would do it, it would definitely be better than what I would have chosen on my own or what other people were telling me. And now I feel like I'm better practiced at that emotional stability and making kinder choices. I guess what you might call the divine choices. I'm still a little shaky with these words.